He hadn't meant to stay out this long. The winter light had faded quicker than expected, and the snowstorm that began as a gentle flurry had thickened into icy curtains dancing in the wind. Ethan pulled his coat tighter around his little girl, Lily, as they sat on the old wooden bench in the park. Her small hands were wrapped around his arm, her breath shaky clouds in the frozen air. They were supposed to be going home. They were supposed to be celebrating her 7th birthday with hot chocolate and her favorite chocolate chip pancakes. But life hadn't been gentle with Ethan lately. 2 jobs, late nights, exhaustion clawing at his mind, and a heart that felt like it had been trampled by the weight of being a single father. Sometimes he forgot things, not because he didn't care, but because he cared too much in too many directions. He checked his watch again. The bus should have come 15 minutes ago, but the storm had swallowed time and roads alike. Lily leaned her head on his shoulder. "Daddy," she whispered, her voice tremoring. "Yeah, sweetheart? You forgot me." His heart split open. He turned sharply to her, panic tightening his chest. "Lily, no, what do you mean? I'm right here." She looked up with eyes too old for a 7-year-old, eyes that had seen her father racing through life like a man trying to outrun his own breaking point. "You forgot to pick me up at school again," she said softly. "My teacher waited, and it got dark, and I thought maybe you didn't want me anymore." The world stopped. Not the snow, not the wind, him right there, on that freezing bench. Ethan felt every mistake he'd made crash down like an avalanche. He pulled her into his arms so tightly she squeaked. "Lily, I will never ever stop wanting you. I didn't forget you. I forgot the time because I've been tired, but I promise you are the last thing I would ever forget." She didn't reply at first. She simply leaned into him, small and fragile, trusting him in a way he hadn't felt he deserved. The storm raged on, and the minutes dragged by in cold silence. Ethan's thoughts raced. He remembered how she smiled when he surprised her with drawings in her lunchbox, how she giggled when he tripped over her stuffed animals, how she clung to him when she had nightmares. He remembered the day her mother left, how Lily's tiny hand squeezed his and didn't let go, but he had been so afraid of failing that he didn't notice he was failing in the quiet ways that mattered most. "Lily," he whispered into her hair, "I'm going to do better. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to make sure you always feel like you matter, because you do. More than anything. Promise?" "With all my heart." By the time the bus finally arrived, headlights glowing like hope through the swirling snow, Lily had fallen asleep in his arms. Ethan carried her on, wrapping her in his coat while she snuggled against his chest. When they reached home, he didn't turn on the lights. He didn't rush to clean or cook. He simply set her down gently, lit the candles on a small half-melted cake he'd bought on the way home, and kissed her forehead. She woke with a gasp as the warm glow flickered. Her eyes widened when she saw the uneven cake and his hopeful smile. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," he whispered. Lily looked at the cake, then at him. "You remembered. I always will." She hugged him hard, so hard he felt something inside him reassemble. like his heart stitched back together by the tiny arms of a child who forgave too easily and loved too deeply, and from that day on, he kept his promise. He arranged his schedule, asked for help when needed, carved time for pancakes and stories and walks in the snow. Because sometimes, it takes one quiet sentence from a child to remind us what truly matters. Before life sweeps you away again, take 1 second, just one, and remember the people who need you. The people who trust you. The people who would sit in the snow just to wait for you. And if this story touched your heart even a little, make sure to like this video and subscribe. There are more stories waiting, stories that remind us that love, even when imperfect, can still be enough to change everything.